Have you ever wondered how a simple printer's apprentice without a penny in his pocket managed to hack the system and end up with his face on the $100 bill? Today, we're going to reveal the dirty secret behind Benjamin Franklin's discipline and how the same techniques he used to tame lightning can be used by you to tame your bank account and your career this very year.
Indeed, but watch what you wish for. The path to this explosive success is paved with moral contradictions that would make any professional canceller lose their mind. If you stay until the end, we're going to hand you the Franklin Code of Productivity and a money insight that schools hide from you. Get ready, because the grandfather of American independence was much more acidic and dangerous than the history books tell you. Look, Karen, Benjamin Franklin was the original LinkedIn coach, but with the difference that he actually got things done. The guy created a list of 13 virtues to achieve moral perfection. Can you believe it? While Gen Z can barely keep a Duolingo streak, this icon was there, at 20 years old, trying to be the perfect man through a borderline pathological discipline and a mindset of iron that would make any today's influencer cry in the shower.
Discipline or clinical obsession, Daniel. Ben was so focused he turned his own life into a laboratory. He believed so much in self-knowledge that he forced himself into isolation to read and write, developing a bizarre resilience. Today, people get inspiration from 15-second videos, but if they want his success, I suggest dropping TikTok and reading The Way to Wealth. It's a slap in the face for anyone who thinks prosperity falls from the sky without purpose.
And speaking of purpose, he had that annoying optimism of someone who thinks they can even tame lightning, right? The guy literally flew a kite in a thunderstorm. It's the peak of creativity mixed with an absolute lack of judgment. But that's the focus you need to have. If you want to be a millionaire and change your history, you have to stop being afraid of life's shocks and start investing in your personal development as if your independence depended on it.
It's funny you mention investment because Ben was the king of finance. He said, "Time is money," a phrase that today has become a pyramid scheme cliché, but in him it was pure progress. Want a practical example? Watch the series Franklin on Apple TV+. It shows how his mindset was geared towards constant leveraging. He didn't just want to survive, he wanted to be the example of transformation that would enable an entire nation to prosper.
But here's the plot twist. The master of discipline and virtues loved to party and was known for his colorful friendships in France. So folks, can you be the icon of morality and at the same time the biggest bohemian in Paris? Is that character or pure hypocrisy? The debate is open. Do you think that to have success and a giant legacy, we can have a chaotic personal life? Or must integrity be 100% in all areas? Comment below. Karen, if there were Tinder in colonial Philadelphia, Benjamin Franklin would have a 100% match rate. The guy wasn't just a genius, he was the master of communication and persuasion. He knew that for success, being smart wasn't enough. You had to make people like you. He even created the famous Benjamin Franklin effect. Want someone to like you? Ask them for a favor. It's a reverse psychology so acidic it makes any Apple marketing strategy look like child's play.
Exactly, Daniel. He was the networking master before the internet existed. He founded the Junto, which was basically a mastermind group for young people seeking growth and development. While today's crowd hides behind an avatar, Ben was there, practicing active listening and political negotiation to get what he wanted. He was so proactive that he convinced France to fund an entire revolution. Imagine the level of leadership and leveraging you need to convince one king to give you money to take down another.
And he did it with a calculated empathy. He didn't just kick the door down, he used humor and simplicity. Franklin was like that rich friend of yours who dresses simply so as not to intimidate anyone, but deep down is orchestrating the entire environment. For those who want to apply this today, I recommend reading How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie, who basically drank from Franklin's well. If you don't know how to communicate and collaborate, you'll just be a lonely, broke genius.
But not everything was roses in his diplomacy, right? The guy was such a smooth negotiator that many saw him as a major manipulator. He had this magnetic personality, but he used it for political ends that weren't always clear. It's the classic dilemma. Do you prefer a leader who is 100% transparent or one who knows how to be diplomatic to ensure the group's progress? It's the old story of transparency versus the final result.
It's the famous debate, diplomacy or deception. Ben Franklin was the guy who smiled at the enemy while planning the next masterstroke to secure victory. So, folks, do you think that to move up in life and have prosperity, you need to be a social chameleon like Franklin, or is raw authenticity the only way? In today's corporate world, those who don't play the internal politics game end up being swallowed. Which side are you on? The naked truth or the strategic social mask? Let us know in the comments.
Karen, this is where it gets messy. Ben Franklin was the guy preaching justice and integrity, but his character had more layers than an onion. The man talked about liberty while keeping enslaved people in his home for decades. It's the kind of contradiction that would get him canceled on X in 30 seconds today. He only became an abolitionist at the end of his life when it was convenient. Is that real transformation or just legacy marketing to clean up his act?
Spicy, Daniel, but it's the raw reality. He was the master of selective transparency. Franklin advocated for civic responsibility, but was a master at omitting facts regarding his personal life or political alliances. He understood that ethics is often sacrificed at the altar of progress. If you look at big corporations today, like Amazon, you see the same pattern. Beautiful speeches about sustainability, while the factory floor grinds under questionable conditions. It's pragmatism over morals.
Exactly, and he still had the nerve to write about sincerity in his 13 Virtues. Sincerity? The guy was a master of pseudonyms. He wrote letters to his own newspaper pretending to be other people to manipulate public opinion. Where is the integrity in that? For those who want to understand this shadow game, I recommend Ken Burns' Benjamin Franklin documentary on PBS. It shows how he balanced the pursuit of social justice with a life full of secrets and political trickery.
It's the classic do as I say, not as I do. But the lesson here for young people is, can you sustain long-term success if your moral foundation is built on quicksand? Franklin did, but the cost was a reputation that, to this day, is debated between hero and hypocrite. To apply this to your life, you need to decide if you want to be a real example of virtue or just a genius of appearance. The enabling of power requires a strong stomach.
And here's the bombshell for the comments. What is worth more? A leader who delivers victory and independence for a country, despite being a hypocrite in private, or a saintly leader who can't change anything in practice? Does the real world reward results or intention? Franklin delivered progress, but at what moral cost? Let's debate. Results above all or non-negotiable ethics? Fire away below. Karen, if there's one thing Benjamin Franklin understood, it was money. He didn't just get rich, he created a manual on how to become a millionaire from scratch. The guy was one of the first to understand the power of scalability. While today's crowd tries to make a living selling get-rich-quick courses, Franklin was out there setting up a printing network, selling franchises, and investing in real estate. He turned his own productivity into a constant earning machine.
Indeed, Daniel, he was the master of leveraging. He didn't just want a momentary victory, he sought total independence so he could dedicate himself to science and politics. It's the dream of every Gen Zer, the FIRE movement. Franklin retired at 42, but instead of idling, he used that time to increase his global recognition and leave a legacy of civic sustainability that lasts to this day.
But let's be real, Karen. His prosperity came with a touch of a massive ego. He loved being the center of attention. He invented the lightning rod and refused to patent it, claiming it was a gift to humanity. Is that pure encouragement, or did he just want to be the unreachable icon of innovation? Today, brands like Tesla try to sell this world savior image while dominating the market. Benjamin was the pioneer of this purpose marketing that blends altruism with self-promotion.
For sure. And for those wanting to apply this growth mindset today, you can't ignore the impact of investment in education. The guy founded the first public library and the University of Pennsylvania. He knew that providing knowledge was the greatest source of long-term income. If you want to be a winner, you need to watch The Patriot or read Walter Isaacson's biography of him. It's a masterclass in building an empire without losing focus on what truly matters.
And the biggest plot twist of his life? The man who wrote Save Every Penny ended his days as the ultimate luxury diplomat in France, spending fortunes on dinners and expensive wines. So folks, can you preach austerity while living in ostentation? Was Ben Franklin a hypocrite, or did he simply understand that once you achieve success, you have the permission to enjoy life as you please? Do you think his legacy is tarnished by this lifestyle, or did he earn every drop of wine for building a nation? Let us know in the comments.
So, after meeting the unfiltered Benjamin Franklin, how is your life going? Are you being the author of your history, or just a spectator watching someone else's success through your phone? Franklin didn't wait for anyone's permission to seek independence and transform his mindset. He messed up. He was a hypocrite at times, but he never stopped seeking progress. What about you? Are you going to keep procrastinating your transformation, or use this knowledge to finally leverage your results?
The moral of the story is clear. Nobody's 100% a saint, but those with discipline and focus rule the world. Benjamin left a massive legacy because he knew productivity is the most valuable currency there is. Don't just be another face in the crowd. Start applying the virtues that make sense to you today and stop making excuses. Oh, and to keep the habit of learning from the best, and most controversial, subscribe to the channel and hit the bell.
Let's interact. What city are you watching this video from right now? I want to see how far Grandpa Ben's influence is reaching. Comment below. And hey, if you want a physical reminder that great things are built block by block, there's a link to buy Lego and other cool products in the first pinned comment. Don't sleep on it.